sir.
Welcome, everybody. Wish we could meet under better circumstances. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Mayor Stone. I've been working closely with Tony and the church here. We have made this the headquarters. Yankee Momentum doesn't have anything set up, so we're having everybody come here. So we'd like to thank them for all they have done. Tony has been here nonstop for over a week. Just a little bit of information for the homeowners. If you need help, we have forms out there that need to be filled out so we know that you need help. We have cleanup crews here from several organizations that will come in, help you clean up the mud, help you haul stuff out. Anything you need, just let us know. We have to know that you need the help. As far as the state, Chad from the EMA will fill you in on that. And if you have any questions or concerns, I'm always available. My phone is on 24/7. You can get a hold of me through the village, and they will give you my cell phone number. Now, I know there's been rumors out there that I haven't been doing nothing. I've been on the streets every day talking to people. I can't reach everybody. Some people are still not in their homes. The biggest thing is getting the information out there. So if you see your neighbor and they're not aware of anything, let them know. They can come to the church, get cleaning supplies, a meal, apply for help. I'm not sure how long our help's going to be around, but once we get going and assess what needs to be done, we'll have a better idea of what we can do for you. Chad was out yesterday with his group. They're doing the evaluation for the state. If you haven't went online and filled out the form for the state for the evaluation, we ask you to do so. We need this information for our disaster relief from the state. Chad will have more on that when he gets up here. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, just give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help you. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Chad. He's from the EMA, and he's been doing all the flood damage assessments and everything.
Can everybody hear me, or do we need a microphone? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect, perfect. I'm a big fan of microphones here. Sorry. Yes, no problem. Thanks, Mayor. Again, I'm Lieutenant Chad Gessner. I am the Director of the Yankee County EMA. I want us to, first of all, thank my partners who are in this room who have showed up to help the community, the Red Cross and Southern Baptist, and many church organizations that are here, so thank you. We've been working on this since day one. Despite what social media wants to tell you, we've been out here with our resources, going door to door, opening up the social media sites, the radios, networks, to just say, the 911s, to call us if you need assistance. I can tell you, in my office, directly, I've received zero. I've contacted the mayors and the communities. So part of my job is to get in touch with the mayors of the affected areas, get in touch with the road districts of the affected areas, just the eyes and ears, community, social media. Hey, what's going on out there? A lot of you seen our drone footage. We immediately went out there and got drone footage to kind of see where the damaged areas were. Just kind of so we knew what was going on, for what we had to deal with for boots on the ground when I had to send teams in. We've sent multiple teams to multiple areas. Fire Chief Luke Shepard back here, hats off to him and his crew, because they were throwing boats on this flooded water in dangerous situations to get to homes, to help get people out. We're concerned about the elderly, those with functional needs. Those were our main focuses in this community, to make sure that they got out and were okay. We brought in ComEd, brought in NICOR. Some people weren't happy that the power was cut. I know that for a fact, but it was a dangerous situation to be in. The flood water started to rise in some areas above the outlets on the floors, the main areas of homes, and we were worried about electrocution. In fact, we had some homes where some animals were electrocuted. So we had to go in there for life safety. And I know some people were upset. They were trying to pump the waters, and we were trying to get in there to individually just shut down individual houses. But in some places like Shannon Drive, there's nothing we could do. It was coming up too fast. So we were working on that. But Chief Shepherd and his team, I mean, hats off to them. Aroma Fire is outstanding. They were on Sandbar Road, all the way through to Shannon Drive. 2 nights, I don't think Luke slept. We had the boats out, mutual aid and moments, Kankakee, right?
Right.
So getting people out. Some people, they weren't calling for help, but they kind of figured when we were out there in the boats, they were saying, yeah, it's about time, it's high enough. Some people, unfortunately, had to walk away. So life safety was our primary focus. That's what the job is for the government, to make sure that people are safe. And so that's what we were doing. Depending upon our, waiting for the 911 calls, the calls that come in to our police agencies, our fire agencies, and just responding as they're coming in, because there's not enough boots on the ground to say where that water's rising. We're just kind of following the river to see where it's at. This area got hit hard because of the earthquake. I was in touch with the National Weather Service and the Illinois Emergency Management Agency constantly, 3, 4, 5 times a day during conference calls, discussing where the river was, when it was going to crest. I had the airplanes that were up. I'm sure you saw, some of you saw the National Guard with the helicopters up. They were helping provide us information to the state, who was relaying that to us. So we were eyeballing it at all times. Again, life safety was our priority, to see if there was homes underwater, to make sure that those were addressed by fire, emergency responders to get out there to those homes and check on people. So after life safety, obviously it's sit and wait type of process. We were, and I say sit and wait is because we had to get the water to recede. We couldn't get in there because we didn't want to put the volunteers that we had to go into, and I'm talking about my search team, my citizens emergency response team. I couldn't put them in harm's way to go into flooded water. So we put together our plan for our emergency operations plan, and then we started to wait for the water to recede so that we could get to the homes and start doing damage assessment. So let me back up and back to the life safety part. We were, and the chief helped me out, I think 3 families that we actually removed and got shelter for, correct? I know one was a family over,
Yeah.
that was run.
From Wednesday night to Friday night, we took 10 people out of the homes.
Yeah, 10 people out of homes. We worked with the Red Cross, got them shelter. We were giving them vouchers to go stay in local motels and take care of them. And the Red Cross then takes over for round the clock, kind of monitoring their situation and continues to check in with them to make sure that they got what they need. So part of my team is the Red Cross. When they came in, Yvette, a lot of you were locals, might have met Yvette. She's been in the church quite a bit, and getting the people the resources. If you turn around and look in that room right there, we knew that we're going to have a big mess coming in cleanup-wise. So Yvette and the Red Cross were able to start making phone calls. Yvette is also our Kankakee County VOAD chairman, so she's our volunteer organization after disasters. That's what that acronym stands for. Not acronyms in emergency management. But as the VOAD chairman, her job was to start bringing in the resources to help the people. So we were meeting to make sure that, and put our game plan together, to make sure that the phone calls were being made to the organizations that we knew. Now, our challenge was, in Kankakee County, is Iroquois is 5 times worse than we are right now. And obviously, the resources would go there, and we knew we had to pull resources our way too, so it was kind of like working with different teams. I know Red Cross has got people coming in from different states. Same thing for Southern Baptists, they were coming in. They're down in Iroquois, but they also were sending teams this way to help us out. So we were kind of working, trying to get our people lined up as well as Iroquois, so it was a little hectic at first to make sure we could pull some teams, but we had the resources ready to respond. So, but the only thing is, until the water is gone, the life safety, there's not much we can do to get in there for damage assessment. So then we got in, now the water was receded quite quickly. So then I got teams together, with the Will County GIS department, the Kankakee County GIS department. GIS is all that mapping and stuff that you see, but they put together a program for us for damage assessment that they built and we were putting into use. A lot of you who came to your doors yesterday or within the last week or so, you notice we were punching in numbers on our phone or our iPads. We had in our emergency operations center a dashboard. We were monitoring the dashboard as they came in while they were out doing assessments, where the major flood areas were, where the minor flood people were just affected by it. Those in the major areas, we were then giving that resource and compiling it together for people like the Red Cross and the Southern Baptist groups that were going to be coming in here so we could tell them where we need to focus on. So that's all that information that we go to doors is twofold. It's for the people who are coming up here to help us and to clean up and the disaster, clean up from the disaster. And also it's for the Illinois Emergency Management Agency so that we can forward this information to the governor's office and IEMA because they declared this county a disaster. So then from here on out, and I'll let Representative Barnhurst talk about the IEMA from here, but that information was always compiled and still is being compiled until Monday when I'm going to submit the numbers. So we are in the recovery phase right now. There's a lot of properties that we went through, a lot of muck, a lot of washouts. So some of you are in this room and been up for a week trying to protect your properties. God bless you for the mess you had. But we are providing you with the resources to help. There's a lot of individuals. I didn't even get to meet with everybody who's in here, but I know it's one of those phone calls where it's a calling all cars type thing. You start bringing in some crisis cleanup teams. And we've got them here. I see them in the red, I see them in the yellow, I see them probably in here that are just in plain clothes. I don't know who you are, but we appreciate it, yes. But you're here, they're here in this community. Aroma Park is the hardest hit area in this county. I've been to the state line in Indiana, out to Indiana Heights, Romance, to the city of Kankakee where the flooding is taking place. This is the hardest impacted area, and because of the year. I know a lot of people are talking about let's dredge this river. I hear that every door I go to, and I don't know the answer. We're going to have to work with our legislators and see what we can get something. We're going to need all the way up to the FEMA level, maybe for some mitigation. I don't know where it's really going to go from here, but I can tell you my office will be on the phone trying to get things built, mitigation money for this area. I really want to work in the area of where Ryan's Pier, that whole stretch is. So I'm trying to build that land up. I can't guarantee you anything, but I will be working, the sheriff will be working, Representative Parkhurst, County Board Chairman Wheeler, we've all talked about this. We've got to build that up somehow because that area is flooded every single time. And we've got to burn with the railroad, kind of helping out. So we've got parks on both sides. We'll try to see if we can get some FEMA money to write some grants of some sort to try to get that going. So my office will be working hard to try to get that done. We'll work with my counterparts in FEMA to see what we can do. Right now we're in the recovery stage. I'm here to answer questions. Sheriff Downey's here. He's my boss. I appreciate he's been giving me all the resources that I need to get this taken care of. So I appreciate all the help on his he's given me. If there's anything I can answer questions for people, I'll be here.
Do we know the levels when it Preston?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The levels when it Preston, like the Moment and Aroma Park, the levels, we have those?
I believe it's 22. 22 is where, 22.9, I think. Yeah. A lot of water for something that in some areas is only like 3-4 feet deep. And I know. And I grew up in Kankakee. I grew up on this river. You know, a lot of you that are out here grew up on this river, and it's not the river that we grew up on. But our question is, how do we fix that? I don't know. I wish I had that answer. I wish I had the money, but I don't. To keep that, but it's something that we need to keep advocating for and see what we can do.
Even studying
I don't think we're going to reach the threshold of damage. And I know that sounds, it's complicated. People say, well, look at my home. They base it off of so damage assessment is based off of insurance and non-insured. Okay? So if you have flood insurance, you have your homeowner's insurance, they know that you have help on the insurance end. Some people say, well, it's not enough help. But that you're getting financial help through your insurance company. You look at the non-insured. I think out of our door-to-door yesterday, we had 126 homes. And out of 126, we had roughly 21 houses. And some of the people weren't home, so we weren't able to hit every house, because obviously people are at work. But out of those 126, 21 homes did not have flood insurance. And some of these are some big homes. So those are the numbers that IEMA and FEMA will concentrate on the loss, because that'll build the threshold. And if that threshold gets high enough, then it opens more doors. Public damage wasn't going to meet the threshold. And I'm talking like structures of government buildings or parks, lands. I mean, in parks, it's greenland, they call it. So like, this forest preserve, as you come in town here, you can see the water line, but that'll grow back up. So they call it greenland, so that'll grow. So that's not considered heavy damage at this time, but it is, we documented it, but we're not going to meet that threshold. I can tell you at the FEMA level. IEMA was in town with me twice. We did a damage assessment, drove around, I showed them the area, showed them our drone footage. They're pretty confident that it's not going to meet the FEMA standards. But we do have a lot of non-insured homes that were affected. So that'll up our threshold. This should hopefully open some doors for people around here.
Is FEMA going to do any buyouts or any grants for raising houses?
That I can't answer. That's I can tell you I was really impressed, and IEMA was they were really impressed by the fact that FEMA had their flood adjusters here fast. I mean, they flew them in from different countries, from different states, and they were already door to door within 4 or 5 days after the flood occurred. So that was good. I was over here on South Bridge Street, by your house. They were already there. Yeah. So they were door to door already in the area. So again, one of the things I want to stress, and the sheriff reminded me of this morning, we want to stress, we're working, the sheriff's office is working with the state's attorney's office and the attorney general's office. Please be cognizant about who's coming to your door. Make sure that they have credentials. Unfortunately, these kind of events do draw con artists to come in there and try to take advantage of people. Please contact our office if you have any questions. If you're questioning somebody that's at your door, who they are. My people were out, full reflective gear with their IDs. Yesterday, Red Cross had you see other representatives of the Baptists, and you see other representatives. But if there's any questions, anything that we didn't even go in your house yesterday. We weren't concerned about that. We were going off of your word to do the damage assessment. But if you do have anything that's suspicious, or anybody that comes to your door that's suspicious, please contact the sheriff's office or the Aroma Park Police Department and have it checked out, because we don't want anybody to fall victim to that in this tough time. So, but we will definitely work with the sheriff. We'll agree, we will prosecute the police down and find somebody that's in our area trying to pull off something like that. Is there any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question. Our house is 21 was affected. The reason it was affected, we got storm damage.
Yeah.
I have been township, city, we're both without insurance, so what can we do? I mean, every time it's gonna go like this, we're gonna get the same thing. I'm putting $15,000 on my house.
Sure.
And
Where's
this happened again.
your shed?
26 Oakwood Drive, well, the White House was.
Okay, so you're in the county. I'm gonna give you my card.
Yeah.
Call me direct, okay? It's right here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, here's my card, call me direct, I'll do whatever we can to help. Okay? Yep.
I need that website.
The Kankakee.com?
No, I don't know that one. I went and looked at all the videos.
Okay?
The EMA, that online one.
Yeah, it's still crisis. What's the crisis? The crisis cleanup? Is that what you're looking for? What website are you looking for? So I am the EMA, the county EMA, but I'm actually the sheriff's office. So I fall under the umbrella, that's why the sheriff is my boss. So I'm not a separate entity. I'm actually, I am the sheriff's office. So if you're looking for me, the sheriff's office.
Website that I need to forms.
Oh, yeah, you want for your damage assessment?
Yeah,
Yeah, the Kankakee County Sheriff's
okay.
Facebook page or the website. Yeah.
Facebook page.
Okay, and some people have addressed the issue that they've been pushing send and it's not going through. Okay? You are going through. I'm getting you like 7 or 8 times. So you are going through. And I can tell people who don't think it's going through because I get you like 7 or 8 times. But our system's tested, it's running on a cycle, make sure it's tested, and it's working. So when you hit send, it's coming through. I'm getting you. And of course, you can always call my office, but I can tell those who don't think it's going through.
One other question too. We had some
Yeah.
Is there going to be a special pickup coming around, or we try and start hauling this?
So this is, and I'll address this with the mayor, you can also address your local. I'm going to talk about it on the county level. Garbage disposal is a tough thing on the county level because every person can hire their own garbage company. In the municipalities, you have contracts. Okay, so they have somebody like the public, or somebody's coming through an area where you can work with the mayor to try to get an extra pass or something like that. The county level, it's very hard for me because everybody gets picked around, so I don't know who's got what. The only thing I've talked to every garbage company that picks up in this county, and they all told me the same thing. If they're victims of the flood, call their office direct, and they'll arrange something for you. Okay?
Cool.
Yep. Yep. And I did notice that there's a dumpster actually out here. So there's one of the rest of the park. Yeah, go ahead. Does anybody have any more questions? Call me yes or no.
Is there such thing, or have you heard of a thing called an ICC grant?
ICC grant. No, but I'll take note and check with our grant administrator to see if
It has to do something about raising houses.
I'm sure that's the Commerce Commission. Commerce Commission. Yeah, I'll address that with the, so in emergency management, a lot of the grant money comes through FEMA. We try to file mitigation grants. FEMA's got a lot of money for mitigation projects. So we will try to work, I've been in contact with the mayors to talk about it to our local congressmen. And you gotta go through them to help. They'll help that paperwork. They've got staff that help out with that. As Representative Parker should probably tell you, there's people that will help out with grants and we'll get in contact with them. But I don't think there's much on the state level. It's all FEMA. So we have to go with FEMA and the reason is I get a lot of the emails from FEMA. They're talking about the different grants that mitigation, they're buying up some homes to build up, areas of flooding. So it's time for us to get involved, and especially here in Aroma Park because we've got 2 rivers that we're obviously, we felt victim enough to where we know Watsika is not drained well. That water is not, it's just kind of coming back here. We've got all the sand out there, and when you throw in 22 feet of water on top of 4 foot, or 5 foot, 6 foot area, this is what we did. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I live in Montreal.
Yep.
Talk about sand when we were pumping my yard texts. I've never seen that day in my life. Actually, my house is surrounded, but I'm not sure about some people are to get inside the up to floors, et cetera. And my question would be, as far as anything you would be doing for the future, that area has gotten terrible too, as you mentioned, Shannon Shores.
Yeah.
It was as far, and it was actually through my front yard, never in 40 years has that it really is getting worse. And I've heard rumors, oh, they're going to do this again in 2 years. Students survive.
And it could happen next month. They're not even in spring yet.
Right, I know.
So, and I hate to say that, knocking on wood,
My
but
question is, being that technically I'm unfortunately can't keep, will, I guess I should be asking the mayor, if Aroma Township will pick up like wood, like, you know, wood pieces that, you know,
Rome Township, I don't know what they're doing. I haven't talked to the gentleman, Jim, over there, to see what their plans are as far as cleanup or anything else. He hasn't reached
I mean,
out.
just agree, because I have more than usually, because she said, thank you very much. I said, you talked to the garbage and.
Yeah.
Because normally they will not take any kind of money.
yeah, so it's a tough thing because, and I talked to the mayor's office too, there's contracts for local that they have for the municipality, and they can't bring in outside people to pick up their garbage. Or else the townships have always been offered to me to come in and pick up stuff, but it violated the contract and put the mayor in civil.
But I use United, if I call.
Yes, yeah, and I talked to United directly, and they said call them directly.
So would
Yeah.
they would take some like lumber and nails or whatever?
If you call directly to the offices, yeah, they're very aware of what's going on. So when it comes to the mitigation, and I'm just the long term of trying to get some grant money to Aroma Park, I need your help. I need the community's help. I need everybody to fill out the damage assessment form online. The more information, the more people that are victims of this flood, the more numbers I have to show that we need the help here. We go door to door. I'm not hitting everybody. There's people that are at home. We're going door to door, but we know where the damage areas are, we're documented. But I need everybody to spread the word up until Monday when I'm turning in my numbers, to get on that website and make sure that their home has been filled out for damage assessment. That's the biggest thing for me. If you want to help, if I don't have the numbers, we're not going to get the money. So
So
I
you
need
said
that. I need the information.
That's at Kankakee.com, that's
Yeah,
where.
yeah, and there's a, you just click on it, you fill out the 10 or 12 questions and
Okay.
submit it, and it comes right up to our page, or to the numbers that I'm looking for, so yeah. Anybody else have any questions? All right, thank you, folks. Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, in the village, as far as the garbage, we have dumpsters located in different areas, donated by the Park District and the city of Kankakee. You can bring the stuff to the dumpster, or I talk to my guys, you can set it out by the street as long as it don't impede traffic. I'll send my guys around first part of next week and all week long to pick the stuff up and take it to the dumpster. Because I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of drywall and wood and everything else. As far as the township or the county, if you can't get no help, call the village hall, I'll see what I can do for you. I can't guarantee anything, but we'll see if we can help you out. Anybody have any questions that I can address?
How long are those going to be around for?
Yeah, once they're full, we have somebody watching them. Once they get full, they will dump them, bring a new one. And they're going to be there for probably a couple weeks. Some people are just now getting back in their homes and, you know, we're going to start tearing out drywall installation, stuff like that. So they're going to be around for a couple weeks.
The question about appliances, like
Appliances, set everything out along the curb. If we have a refrigerator, either lay it down on its doors or take the doors off for safety concerns. Because we do have, it's getting nice out, the kids are out running the streets.
Electronics.
Electronics, set them out there. I have to work with my garbage company. I know they allow the residents one per year that they will take. I will give them a call and see if they'll make exceptions and maybe send the truck out just to pick up electronics.
Wonderful, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, for the volunteers that are going out today, we've got several different groups out here that are gonna be out going to these homes that we have requests for. If you're not with the group, we're gonna have one person in charge from each group and 5 or 6 people under them. Please listen to what they tell you. They've been trained in all this. And if they tell you it's break time, take a break, because we don't want one person working while everybody else is on break. It just makes things easier for them. You know, we're not gonna browbeat you to death because you didn't take a break, but we would prefer if you took a break with them. That way, they know where you're at, they know what you're doing. And we ask you that you sign in and out. We have a form up here, so that way at the end of the day, I can see who is still out there and who has already left for the day. And I had talked to John this morning. He came in this morning and said that they are offering low interest loans for the flood victims. So if you need a loan, go see John at Farmer State Bank right down the street here, and he will help you out with getting that going. Does anybody have anything else? All right, well, we'll get this going so our cleanup crews can get out. I would like to thank the Red Cross. Also, if you have,
Can we have, you guys kind of explain, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to dismiss it. I jumped the gun, I thought we were leaving.
also one other thing, if you need cleanup, and your neighbor needs cleanup, if they weren't here to fill out the sheet, the Red Cross, go on their website, they have something on there you can fill out, and they will send a team out to help clean up. At this time, I'll turn it over to the Red Cross and let them explain a little bit more about it.
Well, thank you, Mayor Stumpf, and I just want to start off by saying thank you so much to the Aroma Park community for inviting us in to help out in this event. The EMA, Sheriff's Office, the Fire Department, the both Hall and Mayor's Office have absolutely been incredible in supporting us and in communicating with us all along. So from starting in mid-February, right after the flooding started, we've been in constant contact with those parties to see what help could be provided. As Chad mentioned, we're working closely with the Sheriff's Department, or with the Fire Department, to ensure any families that had critical needs in the first few hours, first few days, that we were able to meet those through financial assistance or through support with lodging. We also continue to have shelter supplies and crews at the ready in case there are any sheltering needs. We've also been working closely with the church and with other organizations such as Salvation Army, Southern Baptist, to ensure that any needs for relief items, for meals and so forth, those are being met. And we also have had a casework line open and encourage any families that have been impacted to call that line just to let us know what your needs may be. And I think we have flyers out there with that information, but just in case anyone does not have that phone number, I just want to read it off real quick. That is 872-215-1579. Again, that's 872-215-1579. That is monitored 9 to 5 on a daily basis. However, if you do have a critical need after that time, please feel free to call that, or we'll be able to, or you can also reach out to the church or the sheriff's office, and they'll make sure that we get that information. We have had a significant call volume on that line. I've been told that we've been able to respond to all of those requests very quickly and promptly, but if you have had any difficulty with getting in touch with the caseworker, please let me know right after this, or we have, I believe, 8 Red Crossers here right now. Anyone that's wearing a Red Cross vest, you guys can raise your hands. You can grab any one of these guys. They are here to help you out and to see what needs you may have and to provide assistance. We will have a Red Cross, at least one Red Cross person here at the church throughout the day. And in the afternoon tomorrow, they will be here at the ready to talk to anyone who needs support. We'll also have teams out in the town today and tomorrow doing home visits. Like Chad mentioned, if someone says they're from the Red Cross, but they're not wearing Red Cross vests, if they don't have a Red Cross ID that looks fairly similar to this, then go ahead and call that number and see if another team can be sent out, because we will make sure that all of our folks are credentialed. And those folks that are going out, they'll be talking to you about the damage that was in your home. If anyone had damage, for everyone who had damage in any living space that has significant flow waters, we'll be able to provide financial assistance. I strongly encourage everyone to accept that assistance if we are able to offer it. It's definitely helpful for you and your household, but also helpful for the community. All of the assistance provided by the Red Cross is free of charge. It's generously provided by the donor dollar, so definitely no fee for Red Cross services whatsoever. And let's see if there's anything else. We also have, as you can see in the back here, there's cleanup kits from a number of different agencies, which is great. We've also brought some additional cleanup kits in case any further are needed. Our teams that are going out doing home visits will also have additional relief items and cleanup kits with them, including snacks and water. So if someone does come by your home and they're doing a home visit, feel free to ask for some of those supplies. And I ask that you also extend the word for us. So friends of yours, relatives, neighbors who may not be here in this room today, please let them know about the services that the Red Cross is providing. Either give them that number and they can call and they can set up an appointment, and that'll get relayed directly to one of the teams that we have going out who are here today, or they can drop by the church and meet with the caseworkers that we have here. I also want to say, Chad mentioned that there's the flooding is quite worse in Iroquois County. Also, looking throughout the country, there's a number of states that have been impacted. For the Red Cross, we have 26 big operations going on right now. In saying that, I want to let you all know that that in no way will impact our services that we're providing for Aroma Park. We did make a decision to halt any deployments of our folks out of the region. So we're not sending anyone outside of this area to support other operations. We're here for Aroma Park residents, and we want to make sure that flooding in other parts of the country in no way impacts our ability to help you all. Do you have questions further across? Flyers should be out there. If not, we'll get some out there directly after this.
We also have the cleanup information too. The flood information cleanup.
Yes, and I believe I think you all put some out as well. The flyers for the crisis cleanup. Information's great.
Will funds be available today for like shelter?
I'm sorry.
Will funds be available today for shelter?
If you have needs, any lodging needs, then please let the folks know who are doing those home visits or who will be here today, and we'll see what we'll be able to do. But yes, funds will be available. Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, I do briefly about the drug. Thanks so much. And I heart goes out to everybody who's affected by this. Obviously, this is a big deal. And I did want to thank Sheriff's Department, the Sheriff Chad. We've been in contact through this whole situation. Even before it started, I wanted to at least mention that he didn't cover it, so I want to make sure everybody knew that the Sheriff's Department was going door to door before we started, talking to the homeowners, who was staying, who was going. Do you need sand? So this started even before the river had started to come up into people's yards, and it continues through this recovery effort. So he made a statement that, if this happens again, it's really when it happens again. It's going to happen again. We're in a situation where the sand has just choked us out here in this area. So the only thing that I have to add to all of this is about the dredging comments that continually come up on the river and how we're going to mitigate this sand. There may be things through IEMA, through FEMA, and things like that that may be available, but I can tell you from a historical perspective, the county board, as chairman, I'm re-looking at this again. We looked at this when I was just a regular board member about 4 years ago, and those that are part of the boat clubs that remember that we were trying to establish a conservancy district from the Momentum one that exists now all the way down the river, basically from the state line all the way through the municipalities, so we could raise money to dredge the river. The estimates at that point were, and I don't know if people know this, but it's about $1 million a mile to dredge the river, and then it's just going to fill back in with sand. So this is not just in its ongoing, it has to keep going generationally to keep the sand out of the river. So the thought was, and I'll back up a step, we had been working with the Army Corps of Engineers, and the Army Corps, who has basic jurisdiction over the river at that point on dredging, said, we're going to work on the Indiana side to try to make sure no more sand gets in. You guys are on your own because it's not a navigable, trade, shipping, that kind of stuff. It's not a navigable waterway that's hard to move from the city. So basically, we're on our own to mitigate the sand as it stands right now. I don't know if any other resources that are available, and believe me, we're going to be looking. But as I was talking with our state's attorney, and we were talking about legal remedies, we can look at this for how are we going to address the sand coming in from Indiana. How are we going to, maybe it's time to revisit this River Conservancy District as a way to raise money for dredging along the river from basically the state line all the way down here. Because we are on our own, and as a community, we may have to make that choice. Are we going to raise enough money to do this ourselves and have an ongoing effort to kind of restore the river to what we knew it was when we were kids, and even before that. So I just want to provide that perspective on what's going on. This isn't, we're in recovery mode right now. We're not thinking about, I'm thinking about what do we do to try to stop this from happening again. But these guys are all focused on how we get the help to where it needs to go. So beyond that, if there's any questions for me, I'll answer them. Bob?
So what happened years ago, there was supposed to be a test site done from the railroad bridge all the way up to the boat docks in Oak Park. I mean, what happened to that? There was supposed to be sort of dredging just a little part of the river, and then what's it called, the sand out,
The test site?
What happened to that? I mean, the jail was laughing, he was a big accident over the river, and he was probably the only one that seemed like he cared most about it.
Well, and I actually talked to Kurt Ralston about that the other day too. If anybody here knows Kurt, he's Mr. River now, basically. And that situation all stopped with the River Conservancy District. That was, I think, a grant that they were going to give us to do that. And then when I went to all the boat clubs, I had the majority of the signatures to get it on the ballot. Unfortunately, it was turned in, the person turning it in turned it in too late to get on the ballot. And then it just died right there. So my thought is now that I'm chairman, maybe I can bring that back up again and see if the public would support that kind of effort to take control of our river ourselves instead of praying for help that's never going to come from the federal government. So to your point, I think that's where it died at that point when the River Conservancy thing did not make it on the ballot. So I'd like to resurrect it. That's just my own thing. But that would take the public saying, yes, this is our, whatever the financial commitment would be. So.
Haven't they ever created money through the park district? It started out and they've got farmers that will take the sand and distribute it on their land. But
I don't know about the park districts. I apologize. It's not really with the county. So I don't know if the park districts have done something. I'm not sure what it is. The nurseries take the sand out.
and then we heard years ago that everything stopped once they found arrowheads in the road.
That might not be accurate.
That's what we just
But
heard.
if I let me do some research, I can call the former planning director. He's now the village administrator of Aroma and find out.
If we had rivers around too, but if we save our water, it would be like in thousands. I mean, I don't know if we save ours, but it would be really close. And if you're going to have lines here, that's just going to help, If we can't really sand in or dirt in to help us to make everything else, the water, seeding around the houses, how building a berm in
I agree with you. I think the long-term solution is to get the sand out of the river and then somehow collect it at the state line before it fills back in again. Because that's, again, that's it. It's $1 million a mile, and then you're gonna have to keep doing it until your kids' kids are still on the planet. You know, I mean, that's, unless they stop the sand from coming into Illinois. What they did to the Grand Kankakee Marsh, I look at it like, it was almost ecological terrorism what they did to Illinois back then when they straightened out that ditch. Now, we stopped them from coming any further into Illinois, but the damage was done. Until the federal government, I think, decides to put the meanders back in the river to start slowing that water down in the sand. But again, I don't want to distract from, I want other people, you know, here and out there to know that we're thinking about this. How do we do this? And we've been thinking about it. But $1 million a mile. We are, you might have heard, we're kind of cash strapped in the county. So we're trying to keep people on the road in the sheriff's department and keep county functions going. So there has to be a commitment to this for the people that live here.
Maybe a state law. Can't that, I mean, only look at
15.
This has been worse since the 1970s.
Yeah, I agree. I remember that.
So when I see it very hard to take it away, and that's why I got much higher this time. Now,
Well, the airport situation is getting worse too. At the same time, and that's why that's how we're zero right now. Yes, ma'am.
I live in a place that I would say about all people properties on the side of me. All their water drains onto my property. My property was a drain well. Can I fill any part of my property in?
You have to look at the floodplain. Our planning department can help you out with that, looking at the floodplain, because you can't really mess with the floodplain.
I already know that.
Yeah.
I've already talked to them.
Yeah, I wish there was a better answer. And it's, when you, I've heard people say it sounds callous, but boy, you get a beautiful view for 11 months out of the year, but when that flood comes, there's some things that come with living on the river, and unfortunately, you didn't buy all the sand from Indiana. But you have to deal with it. Okay, does that make sense? And
Yeah.
so I'm trying to think ahead, how do we get this sand out of here? Because it's choking the life out of these communities. And you're sitting here instead of enjoying your home.
Well, what about drainage ditches on each side of my property? Can I put in those?
That would be, I believe, township, and I think that's something you might be able to approach with them. Again, I don't know the township situation, but they each all have their own rules. And then if you're along a state or a county road, you know, there's different things that have to happen. But yes, we can be a resource, but it's township, county, that would have to work together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
They're supposed to, I live right on the river down on Lawrence Drive, and they say, well, if you're starting to flood, get some sandbags. But I don't have any way to fill sandbags and get them to my house. So how do we go about getting help like that?
Sure. I don't, Chad, do you have an answer to that as far as getting sandbags to people who can?
Yeah, so as you know, we were tipped off by the National Weather Service about the flood warnings. National Weather Service had a conference call ahead of everything. They said, hey, we've got some heavy rains coming to the area. So in our administration meetings at the sheriff's office, the sheriff instructed the chief of corrections to gather up some inmates to start bagging sand. So we were ahead of it from the get-go. We had pallets full of sand in our garage that we started to build up so we could put out to assist the public. We did get calls on people that could not get down there to get sandbags. So we told them, we offered up to either contact a relative to come help out, or else we had our search team, our community emergency response team that would be able to help out. We did not get any requests for our search teams, so.
I didn't know that we had to contact you because we've been flooded now like 3 or 4 times. Although I lived down the river a long time and I knew that was a possibility. But I'm a disabled person and I really don't have any relatives that can come and get sandbags or help in any way.
Sure, and obviously we weren't aware, but in the future, if you could just note, anytime as a disabled individual, you can call us, the emergency hotline, at any time if you're getting flooding or something like that. I know people say, well, you call that. We didn't care as long as we were finding out the needs of what the people, you know, that falls under the life safety category. So obviously that's what we do as public safety. So if you were in a situation like that, man, please call your emergency response.
Okay.
And we will be more than happy to get somebody out there and see what you need, and we will get you the resources that you need.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
other questions? Thanks. We'll try to keep people updated. County Board Facebook page, my Facebook page, as things evolve. I'll be speaking to the board about this, how we want to move forward with it. If you have input on it, let it be known. The people who live along the river, I think everybody in the community appreciates the river and they see what's going on. And they don't like it, but they may not realize what that cost is, and that basically the federal government, and by the default situation of the state, we're on our own. So we have to figure out if we're going to commit to that. So that, I did want to say thank you to obviously the church here, and the mayor who've been ground zero. They've been doing this for the whole time. This is the place to go if you're in Moments and if you are in other areas that need that assistance. This is the one hub. And then at one time when we met over the weekend, we were thinking there might be remote locations. So if you are a volunteer that wants to help, it's important that you work under the umbrella of one of these organizations for insurance reasons, liability reasons, bonded reasons. People who own homes, they want to make sure that the people are covered by insurance, because if they get hurt in their home, obviously then that's on you as a homeowner. So make sure that they're working with one of these organizations that does carry that kind of insurance. That's very important for you. And it's also important for the people who want to volunteer to know that they're protected under that umbrella as well. So please coordinate here. That's what I can say as the chairman. Everybody else is doing what they do. So, thanks.
I've got just a few things and then we're gonna call the meeting. Wait, anybody that has a kid in school that needs help, I have the truancy officer coming Monday. They've got programs. If you've got kids in school that's affected by the flood, they have money for you that if it's available, they can give it to you. We're going to try to sort out and I'm going to try to get people out to the ones that are in need in that today, right now. It's an ongoing thing here. We're trying our best through the church. We're very short. We only got 30 people in our membership. So this, to us, it's mind-blowing. And we're here to help you 100%. So, my organization, Southern Baptist, and that, I'm going to go out and meet, try to get with them to find out who we're going to, who we can send people, and that. I just wanted to say that real fast, but if you need anything, get a hold of me. I'm the head guy here. I'm the one here, right? We're on, yeah. So I got thrown into this. I'm sorry. So get a hold of me. I will try my best to get the help out to you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sonia. I just want to add something real quick. Chad had mentioned the importance of getting all of the damage assessment information entered in on the form on the website. That is crucial to let the state and the FEMA know how large this disaster is, the full scope of it. On a similar note, he also mentioned that Yvette Alexander Maxey from the Red Cross is the BOAD, Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster Chair for KPT. One of the things that she has already begun working on, will continue to do so, is to let all of the other agencies know what the full scope of the disaster is, but not just the number of homes that were affected and how badly affected, who has insurance, and who has the contents rider, and who has the flood insurance, but also what we want to be able to do is to let them know how many households had need help with mold remediation, or need help with replacing drywall, or need new bedding. Maybe your furnace or your water heater was destroyed, or perhaps there was some equipment or something in your livelihood that was destroyed as a result of the flood. We want to be able to gather all that information, so those teams that are doing those home visits today, the caseworkers that are going to be here at the church, they're going to be asking you for that information, and the reason why is so again we can go to the BOAD group and be able to say there's 20 families that need help with mold remediation. There's 30 families that need a new water heater. So that'll help be able to let those agencies know what the scope of the need is, and hopefully we'll be able to mobilize some resources so that anyone who continues to have unmet long-term recovery needs, those may be able to come to bear. So if folks are asking those questions, that's why they're asking them. And again, if you have friends, family, neighbors who you think might not have shared that information with the Red Cross, just ask that you encourage them to do so, again, so that we can be able to inform other partners as to what the whole being done. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Parkhurst would like to say a few things. She's a representative for this district.
Hello, everybody. Just like Chad, I grew up on the river. We live on the river now, and I was checking it just like everybody else. And so I feel for the people that did get damaged and hope that we can get everything back in order. On a state level, the state's main goal is to help local governments with their response and recovery. After that's done, they declare the state of emergency, then individually there's not much help for people on an individual level. The state's role is to help the local governments make sure that they're able to respond and recover. So working with EMA, like Chad said, is very important. Filling out those disaster forms is the only way to move the process along to try to get more funds open. After EMA has their report, they give it to IEMA, which is Illinois Emergency Management, and then they're the ones that are pushing forward to try to get the small business loans and the low interest loans and that help open. So filling out those disaster reports is key. I've been working with the Sheriff's Office, which I commend. They've done an excellent job. And I will be there to help. If you do find, somebody mentioned that there might be other grants, federal grants. If you need help filling out those grants, you can come to our office on 4th Street, 370 East 4th Street. We help people with paperwork all the time. We help people fill out the applications for their FOID card. So if you have flood disaster related paperwork that you need help with, please feel free to use us as a resource. We'll be glad to sit down with you and help you with that paperwork. A lot of times it can be overwhelming. You've already been stressed out about what you've been through. So sometimes it just takes, somebody that a third eye to sit there calmly and say, all right, this is how we need to do it. So we'll be glad to help with that. In terms of the river, I had attended the River Summit that Olivet had for the whole day, and I've worked with a private agency that's trying to get some permission to do some projects with the river. I've written a letter of support to the Army Corps of Engineers. There's other alternatives that are available. One of them is removing the sand from the river as opposed to dredging. They put these like filters in the river, and the sand continually gets offloaded, and then the sand gets repurposed. It's worked very well in Minnesota and some other areas, but I would be glad to partner with the county and move that forward on the state level as far as I can, because it's a project that needs to be addressed, and it's important and vital for the future of our community. So it might not necessarily be dredging, but there's new and more better ways to deal with the sediment in the sand coming from Indiana. But I have been working on that, and I know that it's been a long process, but it's something that we need to unite together and do. So again, fill out those disaster report forms. If you do have any other questions regarding state issues, or you need help with paperwork, or you need, we'll be glad to answer your questions in our office too. Our door is open, so feel free to contact me, and I'd be glad to answer any questions. Usually it's 9 to 6. It depends. They have somebody comes in usually at 9, and then there's another person that comes in later and stays later. They close for lunch, but they're posted on the door there. And the number is 815-523-7779. If you get the voicemail, they return those the same day. So don't be afraid to leave a message, and you can also reach out through the email, and you'll get an email response. And if anytime you want to meet with me personally, just ask, say that you're a constituent and you want to meet with me, what it's regarding, and then they'll schedule a meeting, and you can come in and sit down with me, and I'll be glad to meet with you.
Can you give us your number again?
Yes, 815-523-7779.
I need the date again.
Lindsay, Lindsay, and it's Park, like a park, P-A-R-K, H-U-R-S-T. And my office is right on Springfield, about a block from the courthouse, right next to Lori's Diner.
Terrific, thank you.
All right, well, best wishes, and again, feel free to reach out to my office, and if we can't help you, we'll try to point you in the right direction or connect you with the people that would be able to provide that assistance to you.
Chief Luke Shepherd would like to speak.
Can you guys hear me? Yep. All right. To reiterate what Chief Wheeler said, or Chairman Wheeler, Chairman Wheeler said, Chad, when something like this happens, we don't know. We don't have boots on the ground all the time. It's the first phone call that gets us moving. And the later you wait, the later it takes us to get on the ground moving. Sandbags, anything like that is a phone call like 911. You might not think that's an emergency, but with water coming up, that's an emergency because it takes a while for us to get the boots on the ground. Okay? I can tell you with my full-time job, I was not around Wednesday, but I know we had 2 rescues. So at that point, I knew we were having troubles here around the park and the surrounding area. By the time I got home and showered, I called Chad right away, asked what was going on. He said, let's have a meeting. Once we started that meeting, that's when everything started rolling, but that was on Thursday. A little late, but we started rolling with it, okay? And then as Chad said, once we got ComEd there and NICOR there, and it was determined that for the safety of residents, for the safety of emergency personnel, if they had to go into the water, we had to start shutting off power to residents that had already been lost. Anybody who was up pumping water and trying to hold their own, we determined to not shut those off. That is when the rescue started coming in, because everyone decided, well, if I don't have power and I don't have gas, I can't stay here. But the sooner we can get this going, hopefully we can get the boots on the ground, we can get the sandbags going quicker, and we can start this process a little bit earlier. Just remember, you might not think it's an emergency when it comes to flood water because it's coming up slowly, but if we don't know you have a need, we don't know where to put people. And I just can't put people out there because I don't know where I'm going, or the county doesn't know where they're going. All right? So we can get the people, we can give them the help. When ComEd said, how many votes do you guys only got 1 vote? He said, how many do you want? I can get as many as you need. And when I say that, that's true. Because in the scheme of things, I can ask for a state emergency right away through my organization, and I get almost everyone from the state coming this way, if need be. Now, we want to split that up with Iroquois County, because they have the same thing. But the faster you guys call, if you think it's an emergency, you know the water's raising up slowly, get sandbags and all that stuff moving, and boots on the ground. You guys got to make the phone call. You guys are our eyes and ears, because we can't be everywhere. I just wanted to put that out there. Don't be afraid to call. Call 911 and say, water's coming up, it's in my house, it's almost in my house, and it's still coming up. We can get things going at that time. All right? That's all I got to say. Any questions for me? Thank you.
All right, we're going to get everybody out and start doing some cleanup. I'd like to thank everybody that's here. The residents, if you have any problems or concerns, don't hesitate to call. Tell your neighbors, they can call me. My phone's on 24/7. So there is help here. Just, you gotta let us know what you need. All right, everybody have a great day.
Mayor, just real quick, can we get a round of applause for the United Methodist? They came to us, the mayor was contacting the church, they didn't even hesitate. They opened the door so fast, and this has been a focal point for us and every organization. And hats off to this entire church for what you've done, and you serve the purpose for us. And you've got a great church here in the community, so thank you.
Well,